Hi, and welcome to another edition of 360 Half Seconds. I'm Kia, VP of Sales for 360 Vet Sales, and with me today is 360 Vet Sales CEO Matt Arena. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Kia?
I'm doing well, thanks. So before we get started, I'm going to just remind everybody how this works. I'm going to give Matt uh, a couple of questions, maybe one question today, because I've got a good one for him. And he's going to have 360 seconds or 3 minutes to answer my question. Matt, you know how this goes. You ready to do this?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So Matt, I'm going to lay out a scenario for you. We get prospective clients that come to us from time to time where they are mentally, emotionally ready to sell. They've kind of made those decisions in their head that they're ready to go. Issue comes up when they finally do their valuation and the valuation doesn't come back exactly where they want it to be. Maybe it's a little lower where they want it to be. And in their minds, they think, hey, listen, if I just wait this out and do a little bit of work on my practice and then go back to market in, let's say, 6 months from now, I'll be better off. What is your advice to somebody who has made the actual decision to sell, but now is looking at a situation where they're wondering, should I wait to sell my practice where I can get more money, or should I take advantage of the current seller's market as it is?
Okay, perfect.
Starts.
So this is a really good question because we see this situation a lot. And more often than not, when we see this situation, it is generally an owner that is a little closer to retirement age. We don't see it too often with younger owners. So I think there's two standards here, and let's rule out the easiest one. A lot of times the younger owner that is contemplating selling, I think they do have two choices because they usually haven't tried enough things or haven't really gone through a lot of the pain points of trying to grow or add a DVM or do something, and they have a lot of time. So their answer could be a little different. I'm going to go more towards what I see more often than not, which is an owner that's trying to sell and they're within 10 or 15 years of retirement or less. I would say what we commonly see in that situation is an owner that one of the reasons they're contemplating selling is they're close or ready to retiring. So that's one thing they have going for them. The other reason that they're contemplating selling is they've already tried or had issues of losing veterinarians, having some turnover, trying to recruit in today's environment, which everybody knows is extremely difficult. And they'll bring us in and have us do the valuation. And they're always thinking about, well, once upon a time I had 7 veterinarians and now I'm down to 4. Or, I still think if we could just add 2 veterinarians. And it's like, well, if you haven't been able to do that in the last 3 or 4 years, what makes you think that's suddenly going to happen? So my advice for them is always work with a broker and run a process. You have nothing to lose. Take a look at the offers. You're going to be able to consider rollover equity.
When you say running a process, you're just saying go to market. That's what you mean by running a process.
Go to market. You've got nothing to lose. Because you can always go to market and then say, none of these offers, even with rollover equity considerations and et cetera, they're not for me. But I think the facts that I want someone to really think about is, one is, what is the risk of waiting? Because a lot of them decide, well, I think I'm going to wait. What's the risk of waiting? Well, there's several. One is the market's high right now. We've seen it for whatever reason, even though interest rates are high, the market is in certain areas providing higher multiples than you would expect. So the market's actually great right now to sell. We're getting ready to go to AVMA. It's a good time for the market to be good. The market started being really strong around January or February of this year. Who knows how long that's going to last? So the market can go down, and it probably will with time. The other thing is, if you're risking waiting to sell, one, you could lose more of your DVMs with time.
Right.
2 is, when we started this market off, people were able to only stay on for a year. Maybe they had to be forced to stay on for 2 years. Today, the average is 3 years. A couple of years from now, I wouldn't be surprised if buyers are saying to everyone, you need to stay on for 4 or 5 years. So that's going to get worse.
Got it.
The other thing that I think people don't consider enough is there are a lot of private equity-backed platforms in this space right now buying practices. That's not promised forever. When that goes away, you're getting back to the world of selling private. Selling private, you're looking at roughly half the valuation of what you can get with a corporate platform buyer. So my advice to anyone that's considering selling, that they're close to retirement, they're worried they're not getting the valuation they need, go get a really good financial advisor, do your modeling on what your cash flow needs to be in retirement so that you really have a good educated answer on what you need your walkaway to be so you're comfortable in retirement. And don't think so much about, well, if I do this or that over the next 3 years, it can be better, because there's nothing promised about what can be there tomorrow or 2 years or 3 years from now. And I think the risks are too great to wait in that situation. And that's just my professional opinion.
No, it makes sense. And thanks. That was such a great answer. I think, part of what you're talking about here is that there's this kind of like, on the one hand, I can go potentially get 2 more veterinarians, let's just say. But as you said, we all know that's already difficult. And if you were able to go get 2 more veterinarians, you probably would have already done it. But let's just say I'm going to go get 2 more veterinarians and then come back to market in a year from now. But if multiples have dropped, significantly
Right.
between now and then, which happens, how much did you really just gain by bringing on those 2 vets? Because although maybe you're showing more production, the multiples are down. So you're
Yeah,
not getting.
and in
Yeah.
order to get the valuation out of those 2 veterinarians that you brought in, if you were even able to do so, you probably have to wait at least 6 months, if not typically 12 months from that point in time to really go to market and achieve all of that value. And again, if we go from a 14x down to a 10 or 11x, what did you really gain?
Right. You basically just took a huge risk, and maybe it'll work out for you, maybe it won't, but it's a bigger risk than I think most people realize.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and I think, and just to hammer, and I know we're over time here, but just to hammer home one point that you made, there is no harm in going to market. Obviously, if you've gone to market 20 different times, maybe there's harm in going to market.
Right.
If it isn't something that you're just, going out there every 3 months and going to market and see what's out there, there is no harm in going to market and
Oh.
seeing what you can get. And a lot of times, and again, this is good when you use a broker, we're able to negotiate, things down the road for you. Whereas if you really did believe that your practice is going to improve over the next few years, that we can negotiate things like earnouts and things of that nature that provide you additional money down the road if you meet certain
Right.
benchmarks that basically say, hey, I think I'm going to do this anyways. Okay, great. Well, we'll try to negotiate an earnout for you.
Yeah, you might not get all of the value that you would get in the perfect world situation, which none of us think is going to happen, where multiples stay the same, everything stays constant for 3 years, but you're opening the door to get some or majority of that value as long as your practice hits those SMART goals as we go down the road. So to me, there's way more reasons to consider a sell now today than there is to wait, because I think the risks are just too great. And I can't say that enough.
Yeah, and if you do go to market and you don't get the offers you want, you don't have to take them.
No.
So, and then you're in the same place as you are today anyways.
Exactly.
So Matt, that was a great answer, and thank you so much. That was a good question. That is a question that we get quite often.
Yes.
And so with that said, I can't believe, but I believe it's next week, right? We're going to be at AVMA.
Yeah, it is next weekend. Not this weekend, but the weekend following. Yep.
Yep. So it's going to be burning hot and humid, but it's going to be a great time. So if you are at AVMA and you have any questions about selling your practice or driving value into your practice, maintaining value in your practice, please come see us. We'll be there the entire time.
Yep.
If you aren't going to be at AVMA, but you have these same questions or you want to know more about your practice, please feel free to shoot me a note. My email address is Kia, Kia, at 360vetsales.com. He's Matthew with 2 T's at 360vetsales.com. We're always happy to help. We're always happy to chime in and give you our thoughts on what's going on with your practice and hopefully provide some help.
Yeah. And the other thing I'd say is if you see this video and there's a comment you want us to talk about or anything like that, let us know. Put a comment in the comment section, please.
Please do. Okay. Well, Matt, I will see you in person next week. And for everybody else, we probably won't be doing one of these next week, but we'll be doing one when we get back from AVMA, and we'll be able to give you some takeaways from that
Perfect.
conference.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.